Hello, I'm State Representative Janine Nodder, and this week on Chatting with Janine, the president of Meals on Wheels is here, so we welcome John Araquesno.
You got it,
I got it right.
Araquesno, you got it.
So how have you been?
I've been doing great. How have you been?
I'm good, thanks. So we're here to talk about Meals on Wheels, and before the show we were talking about babies and little kids, and I was thinking that a little kid hears the term Wheels on Meals. I'm wondering if they picture a Happy Meal, just going down the road on wheels.
Everybody's heard about Meals on Wheels. And I heard about Meals on Wheels like my whole life. I've heard about it. But I never really understood like what was it all about really. So I always thought Meals on Wheels was like somebody taking peanut butter sandwiches, throwing them in a box, and delivering them to poor people.
They do that in California because my mother got Meals on Wheels once, and she didn't. I don't want peanut butter and jelly, so she didn't get it again.
Yeah. Well, every Meals on Wheels around the country is different. But here's one of the things that I learned about Meals on Wheels is that for most of our funding requirements, there isn't necessarily a financial test that you have to get. If you're 60 and older and you're homebound, you can get Meals on Wheels, and it doesn't cost anything.
Oh, okay, so you could be wealthy and still get Meals on Wheels?
Absolutely. And so that's a big conundrum. People are like, what's that all about? Mm-hmm. Well, hunger is not, if you first look at the premise that hunger is not about lack of food, right? Hunger is also about lack of nutrition. So I think about people that I've known who are older who didn't eat right. And there were lots of problems that they had. I'll use the example of my parents. My dad, he drank lots of fruit juice. He liked candy. He didn't eat right at all. And he developed a lot of serious health conditions as a result. And when he moved in with us and we started taking care of him, as soon as we started giving him regular meals, he was fine. All his conditions went away. His skin breakdown went away. And even mentally, he was doing so much better. So a lot of it had to do with nutrition. And so let me give you an example. There was somebody who, pretty well off, who had an operation, and he couldn't walk. And his wife was going away on vacation or a business trip or something. She had to be gone for 2 weeks. And he said, I could probably hobble over and maybe make myself something, or he goes, or it might just be easier for me to eat a bag of chips. But it's also about, it's not only about the food. This guy said, my wife really wants somebody just to check up on me.
Yes.
And so it's not only the nutrition, it's also about a visit.
The wellness check.
It's a wellness check. And so they just started it up, and they did it for 2 weeks, the program. And it's perfectly fine. It's what the program was designed for.
So I've been trying to help out with Meals on Wheels, so that's why I'm wearing this apron. This is I Love Lucy, and I'm not standing up, but it's got the nice polka dots and Ethel and Lucy and Ricky. No Fred, but there is Fred. There he is. I think he's over here somewhere.
There he is.
Half of Fred. And the people that we met, they like this apron. It makes them smile. It brings back good memories. And I'm a huge I Love Lucy fan.
Yeah. So. The one thing that you'll know, because you've been on these deliveries, is that in addition to the nutrition, it's really combating social isolation.
Right. And there was one, I think it was the first place I went to. I went with the Blooms. Do you know the Blooms?
No, I don't.
I think they're volunteers. They volunteer, and I followed them in my own car because with COVID they still have restrictions.
Yeah.
And this one lady that we met, she was the sweetest lady, and sit down. She really, really wanted her to stay and talk and visit with her. But they have the meals that they need to deliver in a certain amount of time, so they can't stay all day to visit. But
I do deliveries once a month myself, because I want to stay in touch with how things are going, what's the process like. And there's this one fella on the route that I go on, and he always asks me to either take out his mail or get his mail for him.
Oh.
And then he wants to talk about stuff. And but here's something that's really interesting, and that is we survey all of our clients every year. we ask them a bunch of questions about how's the food, how's the service, to questions about themselves. When you don't get Meals on Wheels, do you skip a meal, things like that. And one of the questions that gave me a moment for pause this year was the question about social isolation. And that question was, do you typically see anybody else besides the Meals on Wheels driver during the week? And historically, about 20% of those people would say, no, I don't see anybody other than a Meals on Wheels driver during the week. I don't get any other visitors. Since the pandemic, that's gone up to 60%.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
and that's
wow.
really concerning because not only is lack of nutrition something that is detrimental to your health, something could really be problematic, but social isolation can hurt your health. Just not having contact with people, somebody to talk to, even just somebody to see how you're doing, and maybe bring something up. Maybe your cognitive functioning is off, or something to that effect. So that was a real double whammy for us.
Well, I remember the discussion we had when the first day that I went to help out with Meals on Wheels, and I asked you about funding, who funds Meals on Wheels, and how much are you asking the county to pay? Because so state representative, I'm also part of the county government, and I'm on the executive committee for Hillsborough County
Yeah.
government, and we have to vote on this every year on whether or not to give money to Meals on Wheels. And I recall asking you how much, and I think you said 150,000.
150,000 we get from the county typically. Yeah.
And what does that cover?
Well, it covers. We only get partial payment for, I believe it's our Title III funding. And when I say partial payment, I mean that it costs us, let's say, about $10 to deliver a meal, and we only get funded $6 through the federal government and the state. And so really the county supplements that.
Okay, and what are the, when we have these discussions on, well, if we don't fund it, will it still go on? Because they do have volunteers, and why have it? These are questions that come up. Why have it? And many times we've been told that for some, having a Meals on Wheels delivered to their home is the only thing keeping them out of the nursing home.
Oh, absolutely.
So, and you just said 20%, and after COVID it's 60%. This is the only human contact they have. So I view it now as an investment. So if we put $150,000 a year into the Meals on Wheels program, that saves us from how much would it cost to put somebody in a nursing home.
Yeah.
So it's definitely worth it.
The
I know you're not sending out peanut butter and jelly sandwiches,
no.
because I saw the meals and what they get.
Yeah. That's another question we ask on the survey. Has Meals on Wheels helped you to stay in your home? And the vast majority, I want to say it's like 80 or 90%, say yes, absolutely, it's helped me stay in my home. And that could be the only thing that really keeps you out of a nursing home. And nursing home care, I forget what the cost was. I mean, you probably know. It's like $120,000 or $150,000 a year or something it must cost for one person. Meals on Wheels is just such a tiny fraction of that. So yeah, county funding helps us. We also go to cities and towns and ask for donations. And I know Merrimack gives us a little bit of money to help us. We just tell them how many people we served.
So who prepares the meals, and how do you package them? Who packages them and put them
Sure,
all together?
right now we have two different sources for food. One is a place called Trio. They're an industrial kitchen. They have a kitchen in Manchester and a main facility in Woburn, Mass. And they deal with Meals on Wheels all over the country. We work with their dietitian, works with our dietitian. We come up with the menus. They make the food, and we get it in large quantities. They have a truck that goes around to all 7 of our distribution centers around.
They look like little frozen food
trays. Yeah, it's a heat sealed tray, clear plastic heat sealed tray, and it's got your meat and your vegetables and whatever else. We usually give a fruit or bread and a milk or something like that.
Yeah, that's in the brown bag. So that was what I handed over, was the bread and milk.
And then we also have, recently, we have started working with local restaurants.
Yeah, you remember telling me
Yes.
that.
And so we connected with places like T-Bones and Tap House Grill in Hooksett. Somebody that owns a catering business called Soul Sisters. And right now we're in talks with a place called Jeanette from Mola Foods. They're a brand new place that's opening up in Nashua. And what we're doing is we're saying, listen, if you can make a grab-and-go meal, because right now our community dining is still closed.
Right, you had talked about that. So community dining is where the people in the town would go to a big facility and sit down.
Anybody 60 and over can come in and get a meal. And we had to close that back last March because of the pandemic, and it's not open yet. So we're trying to get meals out to people who kind of fit into that
How
class.
often did you have the community dining?
5 days a week
Oh, wow.
in most sites.
Here in
And-
Merrimack, too?
Yeah, John O'Leary Center. Sure.
And how many would show up for that?
Well, now here's the interesting thing. Community dining across the country has declined 80% in the past 10 years. And for us, it has declined about 40% in the past 10 years. And so we've been doing a lot of studying on why is this? Part of the reason is because it's a new generation. We've moved from the silent generation to the baby boomers. And baby boomers have different attitudes towards food and life. And so there are some that have said, we feel stigmatized going to senior centers.
Why?
I'm not one of them. There's this idea that my mom used to say this. She'd say, I still feel like I'm 25.
Oh.
And she'd be 85. And what
So
do I
that's like
hang out
me
with these?
saying, my name, I'm a Mimi because grandmas are old.
Right. And then the other piece is we call it the Panera Bread generation. They don't want the liver and onions. They want the Panera Bread style foods with the ciabatta breads and the this and the that. So
Greek salad. Oh,
yeah. So we figured, why not start with this grab and go and work with local restaurants, because it's food that people know and they like and it's interesting. And we work with our dietitian works with them to make sure the food meets all the requirements.
Okay.
And then we're going to do grab and go for a little while. Then we're hoping to have these local restaurants continue and actually serve the food for community dining. So you never know. There might be at John O'Leary Center, T-Bones or Mola Foods or somebody hosting and providing that food. And then the other thing we're thinking about is, how do we make it more interesting coming to a senior center for lunch?
Bingo.
Yeah, bingo or some other theme.
Trivia.
Yeah, trivia, do some kind of activities or something like that. And then the last thing we're looking at doing is, because there's this whole other group of people that just don't want to do that, we're going to set up a restaurant voucher program where if you qualify, you can get some vouchers to go to a local restaurant.
Would that be income-based?
No. The federal government has designed the program to meet the nutrition needs of seniors. And so we don't get a lot of people with a lot of money that opt for these programs. Usually it's just people who need the ability to socialize, or they need some food, or they would go out, but if.
So here in Merrimack, how many drivers do you have? How many families do you go, or people do you go?
Yeah,
to?
I think our total is around 50 people that we deliver to. I believe we have a few drivers. Merrimack is a small site compared to Manchester, Nashua, which has several hundred people they deliver to. Mm-hmm. One of the things we're trying to do is look at maybe having some of those routes move down to Merrimack. So, for instance, there's some people that are being delivered out of Manchester that are living in Bedford, right across the line of Merrimack. And so we're trying to level our routes a little bit, make it a lot more manageable for people.
So you have, what's the ratio of paid staff to volunteers?
It's about 50-50. Yeah. And let me tell you a little bit more about the type of people that access our services. We also have something that we provide to people who are under protective orders. Those are people who, either adults with medical issues or seniors who are abused or suspect of abuse or neglect, we get protective orders. They go under a protective order. So we go there and deliver meals and do our visits for them. We also serve people who are on what they call a Choices for Independence waiver, and they call it CFI waiver. And these are people who have medical issues that need additional support. And then lastly, we have our Title 20 folks that we serve, and these are folks who are income-based. You know, we have to go in and we got to make sure that they qualify via income.
Oh, okay, so those are the ones that might get a whole bag as opposed to
Yeah,
just a single
yeah,
meal. Okay,
yeah.
because
So
I did see that, and I didn't ask.
Yeah, and there's different levels of food that we give, and there's some that can get
Get
3 meals a
breakfast,
day,
yeah,
7
somebody
days a
had
week,
breakfast.
and yeah.
So the last time I went out, the lady, she was a paid driver, didn't live in Merrimack, but she would come here to do a route. She told me that they used to have to actually see the person every time, but they've since relaxed that a little bit because, you know, what if the person's indisposed? You go, "Are you okay?" They're
Yeah.
behind the door. They can say, "Yeah, I'm fine."
Yeah, I mean, we take that very seriously. The problem is, and this is for all Meals on Wheels providers around the country, that one time that you don't get eyes on and the person is laying on the floor and dies. You know, that's something that you don't want to have happen. You want to be able to go in and actually see the person and deliver.
Well, yeah, but if they're in the other room and you can't see them, you either have to wait but if they're talking, then...
Yeah, we do. You know, I did one where this was before the pandemic. Person was getting out of the shower.
Yes.
And I just said, "Hey, just stick your head out of the door just so I can make sure I see you. Say hi." I mean, we do take it seriously.
Mm-hmm. So what is the name of the lady that runs the program here in Merrimack?
Oh, you would ask me that question.
Because one lady thought I was her.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
She was very happy and thought I was her, and I'm like, no. But I did
Right.
talk to her afterwards, and she was asking me who I saw. I told her about
Pam. I think it is. Is it Pam?
maybe, but I was telling her, but she knows everybody's name. I said, "Oh, this man just lost his bird, his pet bird." So she knew his name.
No, it's Patty. That's what it is. Patty Roca.
Patty. Patty sounds right. Yeah.
Sorry,
The lady
I
thought
get
I
that
was
brain
Patty.
cramp. That's what happens when you get older.
I can tell she genuinely cares for everybody on this program.
Yeah, yeah,
So-
yeah.
And that's the kind of people that should be in jobs like this.
Right, right. And it's I have to tell the audience something. It's so rewarding to be able to deliver food and see the look on people's faces, how much they appreciate it. And if you can find any way to spend some time and volunteer, even for a day, 1 day a week, that would be really great. I think you'd really enjoy it.
I think they still have COVID restrictions right now, so are they allowing people just to come in and help, or?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we can go in. Yeah, people can come in and help, absolutely. What we've done with COVID are things like we've just really tightened up on our procedures to make sure that we're doing surveillance of our staff and volunteers, taking their temperatures and
Yeah.
wearing masks and doing all those things. And there are some of our people we deliver to say, we don't want a person to come into our house, and therefore we'll just leave it in a cooler.
Yes, yeah, I met one of those, and yeah, she just opened the door and
Yeah,
no, that was
yeah.
that. And another lady, it was funny because I was behind the lady that was doing the delivery, and she saw me because this kind of stands out. The I
Yeah,
Love Lucy apron. She
yeah.
goes, "You look thinner in person than you do on TV." I said,
That's great.
"Thanks."
That's great.
That's funny. So the meals are prepared in Merrimack. Are they come from either location, Manchester or?
Yeah, they come from, right now they're coming from Woburn, Mass. And that's another pandemic issue, is that with workforce and supply chains, getting them all from Woburn, Mass. And so the truck brings them up in the morning. They unload at each of our sites, so it's John O'Leary Center. They deliver the meals to us, and then we pack the meals up, and we make sure that they have their milk and their bread and whatever else goes
And
with
they
that.
go in coolers. So I
Yeah.
saw that. I saw one lady gets them all together, puts them on the table, and then with the driver's name and the clipboard, and then the drivers come in and they get it and go.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And you might get anywhere from 10 people that you deliver to on a route. We've got some people that deliver to 30 people or even more.
Oh, did they go outside of Merrimack? Because met one driver who was going to Bedford.
Yeah,
from
yeah,
Merrimack to
sure,
Bedford.
sure. Yeah, you can, it depends on what the routes are and how far they are away. Like I did a route in Nashua that most of the people live in an apartment building.
All in one place?
Yeah.
So, well, that makes
So I'm
it
just
handy.
going through up one stairwell or up the elevator and delivering, so it goes pretty quick.
Well, the drivers, they have it. They do it all the time, so they know the town well enough that they can deliver pizza.
Yeah.
I mean, they know they have their little route. They know which is the best way to go
Yeah.
from this house to that house. So, yeah, and if they forget one, it's like, oops.
Yeah,
It's just-
yeah. And let me just say that with all the help that we get from the county and the towns and the state and the federal government, we still have to raise almost a third of our funding through donations.
Oh, so how do you do that?
We do grants, all different kinds of grants, and we do a whole bunch of individual donations we get from people. There are some people out there that give a little bit every year, and there's some that give a lot every year.
Well, if somebody wanted to find out more about Meals on Wheels or how they can help, what's the website?
Yeah, it's hcmow.org. So that stands for Hillsborough County Meals on Wheels. And you can also call 424-9967. And that's, we have one number, anything you need, whether you want to volunteer or donate or get a job, it's all one number. Or if you want to get food, it's all one number.
And the office is here on DW Highway across from the World Gas.
Yep, New World Gas.
Yeah, so it's a
We have
white,
new
the
signs
white
up.
sign.
Here's an interesting thing. So I've lived in Merrimack 30 plus years, and I've been driving by this office
Never noticed
thousands of times. I never knew that Meals on Wheels was here because we used to be called St. Joseph Community Services.
Oh, okay.
And when I came in to be president of the organization, I said, behind that name, St. Joseph Community Services, is probably one of the best known nonprofit organizations in the country, Meals on Wheels. That should be our name. So a month and a half ago, we rebranded to Meals on Wheels.
Okay, yeah, I think the last time I did a show on Meals on Wheels, I don't remember who the lady was, but my friend Ellen Kolb worked for the organization at the time, and we were trying to figure out before the show, Justin, the cameraman, and I was like, was it Ellen and the lady, or just the lady? I don't remember now. I
Right.
don't even know who it was.
So here's what makes it all worth it. Today, a guy comes in and knocks at our back door, and he said, yeah, hey, I was just across the street at New World Gas, and I was pumping gas, and I looked across the street, and I saw this sign that said Meals on Wheels. And he said, so I figured I'd come over and ask if I could volunteer
Oh, nice.
a couple of days a week. And, it's a small business owner who's been in Merrimack forever, and he wouldn't have found us if we didn't have the Meals on Wheels sign up there. And what a great connection. That made it all worthwhile,
Yeah.
just that one connection.
Yeah, I do remember it being called St. Joe's because that's what it was
Yeah.
when my
yeah,
friend Ellen worked there, but
Yeah.
that's awesome. We have about 3.5 minutes left.
Well, let me ask you a question.
Okay,
Is it true you moved here from California?
yes.
Why would you leave sunny California to come here?
Oh, do you want to hear the real
Yeah.
story?
I'm dying to know. Because I came up from Connecticut, and
It was 1998. My husband, he used to travel here all the time because he worked for Lockheed, so Lockheed Sanders, and he was out here in the fall one year, and I guess that was 97 because we moved here in 98. And he just fell in love with New England, seeing all the fall colors, and he's going on and on talking about it. And then I said, wait, do you want to move there? He said, would you be opposed to the idea of moving there? And I swear these were my exact words. I said, let's see, move all the way across the country away from your mother. How soon can we go? And he laughed, and of course I love his parents now.
Yeah.
But yeah, we came here in 98. We had 5 kids, and it took them a couple months to build our house because they were behind in production. So remember the Crown Plaza when they put in the suites?
Yeah.
The brand new suites. So we lived in one of the suites, the biggest one,
Oh,
while they were
boy.
building our house with
Oh, boy.
4 kids and a baby. And
What a
it was-
nightmare.
after that, we didn't need to go on vacation again for
Right.
several years.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But just getting away from the family was just part of it. But
Yeah.
the schools in California were just getting so bad.
Yeah.
And, we couldn't afford private school. So I just wanted my kids to be in a better school. That was the number one
We came
thing.
up for the same reason. In Connecticut,
Yeah.
everything was just going downhill.
Yeah, but my
And-
house, it was pretty small. The house we live in is pretty small for a big family,
Yeah.
but it was new, and I didn't want an old house with a ghost in it. So
Yeah.
that was another thing. And people who've known me for a long time were laughing because we've had these discussions before.
Yeah, yeah.
I used to teach aqua aerobics at the it's called Fit Lab now, when it was Gold's Gym.
Oh,
Gold's Gym.
okay. Cool.
So, and I remember talking to the ladies about that in the class. It's like, I don't want a ghost.
Yeah, yeah.
So they were telling me where all the haunted houses are in town.
Oh boy, I don't want to know.
So
I don't want to go see those.
the schools were definitely better than California, and my kids have been through all the Merrimack schools, and my youngest just turned 20 yesterday.
Wow, wow.
Oh.
They're leaving the nest.
Yeah. But now we have a big dog that takes up all the space,
That's great.
and a little tiny grandbaby, but she doesn't live with us.
Great.
I keep trying to steal her, but they keep making me give her back.
That's wonderful.
Well, we're about out of time now, John, but thanks for coming on the show. I hope that Meals on Wheels is successful, and that the people in the program stay healthy from that visit and the nutritional meal, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you, and thanks for all you do, and thank you for representing us in Merrimack at the state.
You're welcome. And I'll see you in the next show. I'm taping in half an hour, so. Stay
Bye,
tuned.
everybody.